you die, you go to hell, basically. And then if you're good, then you go to heaven. But that's not the case. Let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 10.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 6 and verse 10. It reads, "That which hath been is named already, and it is known that it is man, neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he."
Right. The Lord said, that which has been is man. That man has been here on the earth before, right? We don't just, if we pass away, we never come back. There's a life cycle to the earth. There's circuits that have to be followed, and we don't have a place where we just go to, and then we just go into the eternal lake of fire straight after we die. We have to come back upon this earth, right? And let's also go to Job chapter 14, verse 7.
It's the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 7. And it reads, "For there is hope of a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the tender branch thereof will not cease."
Right. There's hope of a tree. And Job is all about wisdom. As he says, now wisdom is doubled. He said that himself. Let's get that in Job 11, verse 6. He said himself that wisdom is doubled.
Right. So book of Job, chapter 11 and verse number 6. And it reads, "And that he would show the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is."
Right. The secrets of wisdom are double to that which is. So if Job is speaking about dragons, you understand? Definitely just talking about dragon. All right. If he's speaking about trees, he's not just speaking about trees. Let's get quickly Psalms chapter 52, verse 8.
So book of Psalms chapter 52 and verse 8. "But I am like a green olive tree."
Right, David said he's like a green olive tree. Is he talking about his appearance? He looks like a tree because he's so skinny, he's like sticks. He's not saying that. Right? He's saying he's like a tree in the sense of how trees have seeds, and then that tree basically comes back on the earth again. Right? It has a cycle to it. Right? He's like a green olive tree going.
"In the house of God, I trust in the mercy of God forever and ever."
Right. So man is like trees. Right? Man is likened unto trees all throughout the scriptures. So Job has said that there's hope of a tree, if it's cut down, that it will sprout again. Right? So there's hope of a man that if he is cut down, that man can sprout again. Right? There's hope of that. Right? Let's go to, because man gets cut down like trees. Right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 3.
It's the book of Matthew chapter 3 and verse number 10. And it reads, "And now also the axe is laid unto the root of the trees. Therefore every tree which bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire."
Right. So that axe is laid to the root of the tree. It says a tree, if it doesn't produce good fruit, then it's going to be cut down. Right. So trees are cut down. Right. Because man is cut down. And that's likened unto man being judged. The axe is the judgment of the Lord that can cut you down. Right? If you don't bring forth good fruit, the Lord will actually cut you down. Right? Take you out of the earth. Some people are taken out of the earth because the Lord has judged them for what they've done. Some, and that's because of the fruit that they've got. So the Lord is going to determine, how you're judged pertaining to the fruit that you've got, and that's the life that you basically live, and your lot that you'll get at the end of the days. Go on.
Yeah. Let's also get Ezekiel 31 and verse 9, because just like Zacharias going into we're seen as trees, we see that same thing with how the Adam is referenced in the garden, right? Because we know trees can't envy people, or another tree can't envy another tree, right? So it's obviously double wisdom. See that?
Ezekiel chapter 31 verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches,
Right.
so that all of the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him.
Right, so this is going into Adam and how it's saying all the trees, but obviously trees don't have the characteristic of being able to envy someone. So it's obviously talking about man, just like we're going into with the pieces that Zacharias brought out. So showing that when it's saying the branches, so like when it's saying the trees of Eden, right, it's talking about man, right? They envied Adam.
Right. And that's not personification either. Right, it's not because you had some trees that were kind of nicer, and then the Lord just used a personification for the actual trees. No, it's the other way around, right? The Lord is using trees to represent men, right? So there's hope of a tree if it's cut down that it will sprout again, right? And that's just like man, right? Let's go back to Job 14 and then read verse 8.
It's the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 8. And it reads, though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and the stock thereof die in the ground, yet through the scent of water it will bud and bring forth boughs like a plant.
Job 14 verse 8.
Oh, you want 14 and 8? Okay, come on. This is Job 14 and 8. Though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and the stock thereof die in the ground.
Oh, so even if a tree, if it becomes old, so that's how you know it's like, and this is speaking about man really, right? I think Job is just talking about trees for no reason. He's using trees because when you see the cycle of trees, he's speaking about why he's going through what he's going through. Right? You have to look at the things that are around in the earth to understand what's going on. Because let's go to Romans chapter 1, and then let's get 13.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 13. Now I would not have you ignorant, brethren, that oftentimes I proposed to come unto you, but was let hitherto, that I might have some fruit among you, also even as among other Gentiles.
All right, so Paul said he wants to see some fruit. Right? He's coming around because he wants to see some apples and grapes. Right? He wants to see like that our people are coming into the truth and showing works. Right? And the Lord is going to determine who we are, our righteous works, by observation. And Brother Abishai kind of gave a good point the other day You're saying, you know, like being a chef, or just if you're cooking, or if you got like you deal with plants and stuff, you might not necessarily know, you know, especially like if you like you know, if you have avocados, they're like a good example actually. Avocados, you can't really tell whether avocado is good until what? Let's get Hebrews chapter 4 verse 16. So a lot of fruits you can't really determine whether it's good. You might get a banana, it might look good on the outside. You can't really judge by you know where it is on the outside, right? To us, we might see things and it looks okay, it looks fine, you know. But let's go to Hebrews 4:16, bro.
Hebrews 4:16. It reads, Hebrews 4 verse 16. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain grace.
That's Hebrews 4:6.
Hebrews 4:6, I like that.
No, 4:16. 12, so yeah.
But sorry, verse 12. This is Hebrews 4 and 12. For the word of God is quick and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit.
Right. So the word of God is sharp, so it can cut, right? What man doesn't really see, to be able to see what's actually behind those things. So just like a fruit, an avocado, banana, it might look nice, or you think, oh, it looks ripe, it looks cool. You know, the avocado looks alright. But then you cut it open and it's black inside, man, right? The banana might look fine, but you know, you open it up and it's all bruised up, right? So the Lord, you know, He likes us unto fruit that come from a tree and our works, because you know, man can look good. You know, you can have, you know, you might you know, have the nicest perfumes, right? The nicest trims, and you know, the nicest clothes, the nicest words, but it doesn't have the actual works behind it.
Right.
And you might not see it because you don't see what's actually going on inside. And you know, certain fruits can be shown, right, when you actually open it up, right, and then you see what it actually looks like inside. And then you know, until you open it up, you won't know and examine. But the Lord is going to examine us, right? He examines us just like you examine a fruit. It might look good on the outside, but He's going to try us. He's going to open us up, man. Right? He's going to open us up, and that's when we're judged to see whether what type of fruit we actually have. Did it just look good? You might have apples all polished, like you see in the movies, that the red apples are all shiny and stuff. But is it actually good inside? That's all.
No.
Right. So let's go to Job chapter 19, verse 25.
It's the book of Job. It's the book of Job, chapter 19 and verse 25. For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that He shall stand at the latter day upon the earth.
So Job said that his Redeemer lives. Our Redeemer is Yahushua, right? So Job is saying he knows and is confessing that Christ is real, right? And He shall what?
And He shall stand at the latter day upon the earth.
And He's going to stand, that the Redeemer is going to stand in the latter day. Another way of saying the last days, latter means like, you know, the later, right, days upon the earth. Saying in the last days, Christ is going to be on the earth, right? Job knows that because he's a prophet, right? Job is not just a guy, he went through persecution and he kind of dealt with it, and that's it. He's just some ordinary guy. Job was mighty. He's a prophet. He's a historian, right? He's a man of wisdom, an elder, right? He's all of these things, and he's prophesying right now about Christ. He's saying that he knows that Christ is going to be upon the earth. Let's read on.
Verse 26. And though after my skin worms destroy this body.
It says after, you know, worms are going to destroy his body. How are worms going to destroy his body? You know, through, I mean, Hey, if you eat pork, it might, bro.
Should I?
He's not talking about that. He's not talking about tapeworms. He's saying that worms are going to destroy his body after he passes away and goes into the ground. That worms are going to devour his body.
Alright.
That's real.
Yet in my flesh shall I see God.
Right. He said that in his flesh, he's going to see God. He's going to see the Redeemer. He's going to see Yahushua in his flesh. So he's saying that he literally just said that. You have to take it slow. He said in his flesh is going to be devoured by worms. But then he said in his flesh he's going to be seeing the Redeemer stand upon the earth. So how do those two things link up? Right? He would have to be upon the earth in the spirit. Right? His spirit is going to be on the earth, but it's going to be in another flesh. Right? Let's read on.
Come. Verse 27, whom I shall see for myself.
He makes it plain. This is him.
Right.
He's not gonna, hear it from someone else in the heavens. No, he's gonna see it for himself on the earth because he's gonna be in flesh. There's no flesh up in there in heaven, right? There's heavenly things and there's celestial things, right? He's gonna be on the earth himself even after he dies. He's going to be in the last day seeing Yahushua. So Job is he's going to be around in the last days to see Yahushua, right? He's seen it. He knows it. The Lord let him know. He's a prophet. Let's read him.
And whom I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold, and not another.
And not another. He makes it plain. So yeah, in the last days, Job is going to be around. Right? Job was living over around 4,000 years ago. Right? He's saying in 4,000 years that he's going to see Yahushua.
Let's read them.
Yeah, go on.
So Job 19 and 27, whom I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold, and not another, though my reins be consumed within me. Verse 28, but ye should say, why persecute we him?
Yeah, that's it. So Job is going to be on the earth in the last days, right? And let's go Psalms 104 verse 29.
So book of Psalms 104 and verse 29, and it reads, thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou takest away their breath, they die and return to their dust.
Right, so people return to their dust. So flesh has to return to the dust. Spirit can't return to the dust. That's not where it came from. Right? The Lord, like, there's no, you can start digging in a cave and you find like some spirits and that, right? That's just weird. Right? Some certain type of thing going on, right? That's not how it works. The spirits come from the heavens and the flesh comes from the earth. So you return to where you came from. That's what return means, to go back. So our spirits have to return to heaven after we die, and our flesh returns back to the earth. But as you see, and we're going to continue seeing, that your spirit has to then come back on the earth as well.
Right.
Because you have, like I said in the beginning, we have a job to do. Right? We're employed. We're just been around for however many years the Lord has made us for, to just be on the earth one time. Right? Let's read on.
Verse 30, thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth.
So after we die, when our spirits go back, the Lord says he sends forth, right, the spirit, and then the face of the earth is renewed. What does renewed mean, right? It's refreshed, right? So it goes back to its former state, right? So people are still upon the earth, in this thing. Let's get Numbers chapter 24 actually. All right. Start verse 15.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 24 and verse 15, and it reads, "And he took up this parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, have said, the man whose eyes are open he have said, which heard the words of God and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob."
Yeah, so there shall come a star out of Jacob. Again, Yahweh Shai.
Right.
He's that star that comes out of Jacob. Right? Go on.
"And the scepter shall rise out of Israel."
Right. Because Yahweh Shai, he's the one who's been granted the scepter, right, through Judah, right, to be the lion of the tribe of Judah, the King of Kings. Go on.
"And shall smite the corners of Moab."
Right, so Yahweh Shai, he's going to come and smite the Chinese. Go on.
"And destroy all the children of Seth."
Right, so anyone opposing Yahweh Shai is going to get destroyed when he comes back. Go on.
"And Edom shall be a possession."
Right, they're going to be a possession. They're not going to be the friends. They're going to be the best buddies. They're going to be a possession. Go on.
"Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly."
Right. Israel shall do valiantly in the time that the Edomites are going to be judged and go into slavery.
All right.
Marilyn needs to mute up.
She's like, fam, you got to mute up online, Brother Kashar. If you're online, you got to mute up. You got to mute your mic. The water. Verse 19. Verse 19. Out of Jacob.
Verse 17 one more time.
Verse 17. And it reads, "I shall see him, but not now."
Right. So he said that, right, and this is right about 3,500 years ago. There you jump. Right. See that? So this is about 3,500 years ago. Right. He's saying that he's gonna see Yahweh Shai, but not now. He's gonna see the judgment that happens upon the earth, but not now. How? Because as we are destroyed in the spirit through the flesh, which is here today and gone tomorrow, our spirits are not. Our spirits are made to be everlasting, right? But because of our sins and the bodies that we live in, right, of course we can't be. Right? We're here for just a time. So you have multiple accounts, people saying that they're going to see things in the last days themselves, even though, right, there's no accounts of, right? Because if he said, "I shall see him, but not now," and Job said that as well, that means you've got 3,500 and 4,000-year-old men on the earth right now, right? Still living, right? Still up in a cave somewhere in China, just sipping teas, on a zip line. There's no one doing that. All right. Let's go to anything else you want to touch on?
Yeah, I see a point. As well, I think it's, when someone passes away, the term that should be used really is sleep. Because when you say sleep, that means the person's, that's a hope of resurrection. So it's not, this person is dead. Hey, physically they're dead, but we know that they're just asleep, right? Because we see with what Job's saying, we see with the John as well, right? He didn't know what was going on when they're asking him, "Are you Elias?" He didn't know that because you don't remember. Obviously, when your spirit is regenerated, when the spirit is regenerated, they don't know what's going on really, right? So the term is sleep. The person is asleep because we're hoping for a resurrection, right?
Let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. So not fine. verse 15, 14. So
Right.
let's start at 13. So,
It's the book of First Thessalonians, chapter 4 and verse 13. It reads, "But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope."
so Paul, he's using the word asleep specifically because he's trying to comfort those in Thessalonica about the deaths of people that have the people that have died, basically, right? He's letting them know, look, they're asleep, right? And don't sorrow about them as if he could have said other words, but he said asleep specifically, right? Because he's letting them know that they're literally asleep. If someone is asleep, just as a tree, as we read in Job chapter 14, there's hope of a tree if it be cut down that it may sprout again.
Right.
When someone goes to sleep, you have hope that they're gonna wake up. Let's read on.
Verse 14, "For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so then, with them also which sleep in Yahushua will God bring with him."
Right. So
Right.
Paul is saying, don't worry about those that have died because they're just asleep, and those people, those spirits, are going to be brought with Yahushua. So don't think, okay, because someone died, that's it's a bad thing, because if they led their life in righteousness, they're going to be with the Lord, right? In the last days, and if they come back up on the earth, he's saying, don't sorrow even as others which have no hope. So you shouldn't be in complete sorrow for someone that's done the right things in the eyes of the Most High. Be sorry for the people that are wicked and alive still upon the earth. Be mourning for them. Don't mourn your whole life for someone that has done righteous things and is now asleep. They're in a better place, right? They're cool, right? They're all right. They're not worrying right now. They're worrying about you, right? But what you need to be worrying about is those that are on the world right now doing evil. Let's get that in Sirach 22. We read it last time, but just to re-emphasize. Sirach 22 and verse 11.
So book of Sirach, chapter 22 and verse 11. And it reads, "Weep for the dead, for ye have lost the light, and weep for the fool, for he wanteth understanding. Make little weeping for the dead."
Right. Make a little weeping for the dead. Right? Not your whole life, man. Mourning for the dead. Right? The righteous, that is. Right? Go on.
"For he is at rest,
But he's at rest. Go on.
but the life of the fool is worse than death."
The life of the fools, so the living fool is worse than the righteous that's dying. Right? So we don't go up and down mourning for 5, 6, 7 months about those who have done the right things and have passed away. Right? You have a time that you have to mourn, because when it hits you, right, you feel it, right? But that's only for a time. There's a season for it. But those that are, right now we're in a time of mourning because our people are evil, a lot of them, right? So, we have to be serious a lot of the time, man. You have a plan?
Yeah, come. Also, let's go to, I think it's Matthew 16, because there's people that might actually, there's people that are going to be here when Yahushua cracks the sky, man, right? There's people that are going to still, I want Matthew 16. Come. You got it?
Matthew chapter 16, verse 28. "Verily I say unto you, there shall be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom."
Right. So there's going to be those that literally are going to endure until the end, right? But we also know there's people that are going to be, this might be the mightiest sister, the mightiest brother. Some of us are going to, fall asleep. But then there's also going to be those that literally do not see death, right? They are literally not going to see death, right? Can't. Also as well, let's get 2nd Ezra 13. 2nd Ezra 13 also. I believe it's 22. I'll start from, I think we're back. So the last precept we read was Matthew 16 and 28? Thank you. Matthew 16 and 28 was the last precept we read. Just going into how there will be people that will literally not see death. They will be here until Yahushua cracks that sky. Right? Well, I mean, if brothers and sisters want to jump on the YouTube link on our YouTube, WFI Europe, feel free to jump on there too if the connection is a bit unstable. So let's go to 2nd Ezra 13, and let's start from verse number. Let's start from 18.
2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days,
Right.
which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Because
we're kind of going into that, really, kind of seeing all these wicked things that are starting to happen. Obviously, it's not happening here. It's happening in places, Ukraine, right? Russia, all these places, Israel, right? It's happening there, but it's going to be a point in time when it happens here, man. Just like they depict in all the movies you see, like I Am Legend, right? All these things happening where the world is, it's got all this, grass just growing everywhere. Because it's gonna be perilous times, man. No one's gonna be worried about, cutting the grass. No one's gonna be worried about that, right? Read on. Oh, sure.
Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it is easier for him that is in danger to come to these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world and not see the things that happen in the last days.
Right.
And he answered unto me and said, the interpretation of the vision shall I show thee,
Mm-hmm.
and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required.
Right.
Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind.
Right. So there's going to be people that are left behind, right? And even on that point, it's easy to be wicked. It's so easy to be wicked, but to have a clear conscience and a clear mindset, that's something. That's why it says in Sirach 2, when you come to serving the Lord, right, you're going to be tempted. It's so easy to be wicked. You could drop this whole thing now and just go back to what we were doing before. That's easy to do. That's why people really hate this truth, man. Because you have to actually change, but can't. So it says those that are left behind, right? Go on.
Verse
22.
Mm-hmm. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
He that shall endure the peril in that time,
right,
hath kept himself.
So the peril is the wickedness, right, and evil, right? Go on.
They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith towards the
right. So this is a cut. This is a clear cut for any Christians that say, hey, we just have to have faith. You have to have faith and works, right? Like you read in the book of James 2, right? You have to have faith and works. But point being is saying, this is literally talking about enduring unto the end, right? Enduring unto the end isn't being half-hearted, right? That's why you have to die daily, right? You have to remove certain infirmities from yourself and die daily, right? Read on, Papa Sean.
Know this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead.
Mm-hmm. Come. Come. So point being, literally, is you're more blessed to actually be on this earth, man. Because even that's you still got a grace period. You still got a grace to be on the earth. Still, you got a grace period. Because you can't repent. You can't repent in the grave. But knowing this truth and knowing what it's all about, enduring unto the end, having faith and works, we got to be able to do that. Otherwise, there's not going to be last minute substitutions. You're kind of saying, kind of closing your eyes. You can't do that when you're dead. You don't have the ability to do that. So that's why in this grace period that we have, and we don't want to sin willfully, right? But can't you go?
Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 1 verse 8.
So book of 2 Kings chapter 1 and verse number 8. And it reads, and they answered him, he was an hairy man, and girt with a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, it is Elijah the Tishbite.
Right, Elijah the Tishbite. Right, so Elijah, he had these traits about him, right? And he was he used to have a girdle, he used to have the leather belt, and he used to have he used to have a fur coat, right? So let's go to Malachi chapter 4 as well first, because it pretty much makes it plain.
Right.
Malachi chapter 4 verse 5.
God. So book of Malachi chapter 4 and verse number 5. And it reads, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet.
Right, and the time of the book of Malachi is about 400 years after Elijah was living. So the Lord said that he's going to send Elijah, right, go on.
The prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord.
Right, he said he's going to send you Elijah before the coming of the Lord. All right, go on.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
Right. So let's go to Luke chapter 1, verse 17.
That's right. Okay. So book of Luke chapter 1 and verse number 17. And he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elias.
Let's start verse 13.
Right. Okay. Verse 13. But the angel said unto him, fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John.
Right, thou shalt call his name John. Right, so this is who we are referred to as John the Baptist. Right, from his mother being Elizabeth and his father Zacharias. Let's read on.
And thou shalt have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth. For he shall be great in the sight of the Lord, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink, and he shall be filled with the Holy Ghost, even from his mother's womb.
Right, go on.
And many of the children of Israel shall he turn to the Lord their God.
Right, that was the prophecy we just read, that Elijah, who's going to be sent by the Lord, is going to turn many to the Lord. Right? This is the prophecy being fulfilled. Let's read on.
And that's a good cut showing that coming only for Israel as well. On top of that, verse 17, and he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elias.
Right, so he's going to have the spirit that Elijah had, with the power that he had as well, right? And Elijah, naming that, at least one thing Elijah did that was powerful. What did Elijah do that was powerful? Yeah, I don't give no warning. Yeah. People know I'll be naming their children Elijah. I'm sure I'm sure a buyer would know. All right, but yeah. Let's go quickly to 1 Kings. Let's go to 8. Someone say something? See that? Right, all praises. Sister got in there and said, I was going to go to that account as well, right? He prevented the rainfall, right? So he stopped the rain and allowed the rainfall to come back, right? So right, all praises, man. Right, that saved us having to go there. But let's go there anyway, actually. Let's go. First Kings, right? Chapter 18. We'll start actually, let's get this one. I prefer. I like this one. Let's get First Kings chapter 18 and verse. Let's start at verse 33.
So book of First Kings chapter 18 and number 33, and it reads, "And he put the wood in order and cut the bullock in pieces and laid him on the wood and said, Fill 4 barrels with water and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. And he said, Do it the second time. And they did it the second time. And he said, Do it the third time. And they did it the third time. And the water ran round about the altar. And he filled the trench also with water."
Right, so that should ring some bells about when he tried to confound those who were prophesying, right, with the false god. Go on.
Verse 36, "And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known to this day that thou art God in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word."
So Elijah, he's right, Mike, right? Right, he was doing these things in the name of the Lord. Let's read on.
Verse 37, "Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that this people may know that thou art the Lord God, and that thou hast turned their heart back again." Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench.
So he made the fire come down from the heaven. So he had power, right? As Yahweh said that we're gonna have power with God and with man. I don't know what that means for the song.
This is up on the link, up on YouTube.
Yeah. For those in the Zoom, actually they can't even hear me.
John. Patience.
Write it down. Email. Oh my gosh, how does it spell?
They get the gist. They get the gist. We continue.
So let's go back to Luke chapter 1 verse 17. So John, he came in the spirit and the power of Elijah, right? So what John was doing, right, he was Elijah, and let's prove that. Let's go on.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Verse
17.
This is Luke 1 and verse 17, and it reads, "And he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elias, to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wives of the just, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, and to make ready a people prepared for the Lord."
Right, this is plain. this is that prophecy being fulfilled, and is being made plain that he's gonna turn everybody back to the Lord before the dreadful and coming day of the Most High. And then this is John the Baptist being spoken about. He's going to have the spirit of Elijah. Right? It doesn't mean he's gonna have like some, he's gonna bring it out like no, that's Elijah. Let's go to Matthew 11, verse 11.
God, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 11 and verse 11. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come.
Right, it said, if you will receive it, this was Elias, a translation for Elijah. Yahushua is saying that John the Baptist was Elijah that was to come. But even then, people didn't know it. People didn't realize it. People couldn't see it, right? They didn't know at that time. Yahushua had to let people know, right? Because, like the brother said, he didn't even know that. He didn't say, oh yeah, I'm Elijah back on earth. He said, I'm John the Baptist, right? So people come back on the earth, right, with the spirit that they had of old. They may not have the same name, right? They may not, look exactly the same, but they're gonna have the same spirit, and they're still gonna do the same works because they have the spirit of that person back on the earth.
Let's also go to John 1, right? Because this is plain, man. This is plain. That's why you really have to know how to study the Bible, because otherwise you're just gonna think we're all going to be going to limbo or or something, right? When really, when you do your research, you'll see that energy doesn't die; it's repurposed. Like we went over last week at the end, energy is repurposed; it doesn't die, right? So let's start from John 1, and let's start from 19.
Right. This is John chapter 1, verse 19. Says, and this is the record of John, when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who art thou?
Right, so they asked him, hey, who's my man? Right, they're trying to find out who's this guy, right? Go on.
And he confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am not the Christ. And they asked him, what then? Art thou Elias?
Right, so see, they kind of said, all right, hey, this guy might be Elias, right? Maybe they must have read the Malachi or something, right?
And just touch on that, they definitely knew the prophecy pertaining to Elijah, and they were looking for Elijah to come. That's why they're asking, are you Elijah? Why they're asking a man? They know Elijah's not around no more, right? They're asking him, are you Elijah? Right? Because they know people come back on the earth, right? But that's John the Baptist, but yeah, go on, sir.
You go on. You know, Bible question.
And he saith, I am not.
Right. So, like I said, when he didn't know what's going on. He didn't know. Oh yeah, I'm Elijah. He didn't know that, right? Because his name's John. So you think, what? My name's Elijah. No, right? Reader.
Art thou that prophet? And he answered, no. Then said they unto him, who art thou, that we may give an answer to them that sent us? What sayest thou of thyself? He said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord, as said the prophet Isaiah. And they which were sent were of the Pharisees. And they asked him and said unto him, why baptizest thou then, if thou be not the Christ, nor Elias, neither that prophet?
Right, so literally they kind of, this guy, that might be Elias. Because like the brother was saying, they obviously knew about the prophecy, right? So they're kind of looking for, where's this guy at? Right? You can see that in the book of John 1, it tells you plain, right?
Right. So let's get Matthew chapter 17, verse 11 as well. So yeah, it is plain.
on the 17.
Mhm.
God. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 1, and verse.
Matthew 17 and 11.
Salakia.
Should I say Matthew 1 and 17?
Salakia.
See that?
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 17, and verse number 11. And it reads, And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall first come and restore all things. But I say unto you that Elias is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them. Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist.
So that's plain. Right? John the Baptist was Elijah. And if you don't agree, right, you think Yahushua is a liar. Right? Yahushua is letting you know people come back upon the earth, right, with the same spirit. Right? The spirits are there for a season, they come back upon the earth, and then that's how these things are manifested. Let's get one more. Numbers chapter 36, and then will be some questions. Numbers 36, verse 7.
Right. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 36, and verse number 7. And it reads, So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe, for every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers.
We have an inheritance of our father. So, we all have a tribe that we come from as well. And every tribe is going to have a spirit that it has too, right? And it's important to know that, the inheritance that we have stays with us. So our inheritance is not pertaining to our flesh. It's pertaining to our spirit, right? So our flesh, is not where the inheritance is. It's in the spirit. So when we come back on the earth, our inheritance is based upon our lineage. Let's get also Numbers, Deuteronomy 25, right? Verse 5, I believe.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25, and verse 5. And it reads, If brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no children, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her.
Right, because you have an inheritance, and this is a physical inheritance being exemplified to show that, with being the law being spiritual, that these are talking about spiritual things as well. So if a woman has no children, and then her husband dies, it's the responsibility of the blood brother. It says not outside unto a stranger. That stranger in this context is not talking about another nation. This stranger is anyone who's not the near kinsman. So the nearest kinsman, right, chiefly the blood brother of the husband, of the deceased husband, if they had no children, would be responsible to be with the wife, and then have children, be fruitful and multiply. Right? If he's got his own family, what the brother or the husband, then he still has to do that. Yeah, he still has to do that, because this is about all the commandments about how to love your neighbor. And in order to love your neighbor, and you love your brother, literally, you want your brother to have a remembrance upon the earth. And that's a good point. Let's read on.
Verse 6. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel.
Right. So you don't want your brother's name to be put out of Israel, so that you can have a lineage. And so our lineage, it doesn't move from tribe to tribe. So whatever tribe you're from, when you was back on the earth, or when you was previously on the earth, it's from that same tribe, because you have a particular spirit. But each tribe has its own spirit, right? Issachar has its own spirit, right? Judah has its own spirit, Benjamin, Levi. So the Levites would have to come back as a Levite. The Benjamites have to come back as a Benjamite, right? The Zebulonites have to come back as Zebulon. All the tribes, you have to come back as who you are. You can't come back as a frog,
Or either.
right? And you start ribbiting around the world.
Freedom.
Yeah, this is the Q&A. That was the last piece.
Right.
Why do you not?
I know. That's excellent.
So Yahushua is coming back for Israel. When we say that, people get very offended and upset. It's not our opinion, it's based on scripture.
Right.
If then other people want to become a part of Israel, copying what we do, what part of the inheritance then of the tribes of Israel would they then be able to claim?
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. So, what inheritance do these Jewish people have? Right? They, do they have the spirit of the Levites? Right? Do they have the spirit of the priests to do the priestly duty? They don't have that, man. Right? They don't have that at all. Right? They're not going around teaching the law. And I've never seen a Jewish man bringing out the law out on the streets. All right? They keep to themselves. They're not trying to share their Torah scrolls, man, that they got.
The cube on the head.
Right? Let's get 2 Chronicles chapter 17 from verse 7. They ain't trying to teach no laws, man. They ain't no Levites. That's what they say. They say they're pretty much, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And there's 10 tribes around the world that they can't find. And that's why a lot of them have the last name Cohen. Right? Because Cohen goes back to really Kohath. He was a Levite, right? Where, the chief Levites come from. So they try to say, yeah, you've got to have the Cohen gene in order to be whatever they call themselves, to be Jewish.
Right.
But they don't have no Kohen spirit, though. I don't know about this Kohen gene, but they don't have the Kohath spirit.
Right.
That's good.
So because 2 Chronicles chapter 17 and verse 7, also in the 3rd year of his reign, he sent to his princes, even to Ben-Hel, and to Obadiah, and to Zechariah, and to Nathaniel, and to Micaiah, to teach in the cities of Judah.
Go on.
And with them he sent Levites, and sent Levites, even Shemaiah, and Nathaniah, and Zebediah, and Ashiel, and Shemarathoph, and Jehonathan, and Adoniah, and Tobiah, and Tobadoniah, Levites, and with them Elishama and Jehoram, priests.
So these Levites have gone around with the princes to go and do what? To teach in the cities of Judah. That's what the Levites were on. Right? You send out the princes, make sure you send them Levites with them, though. Let's read on.
Verse 9, and they taught in Judah, and had the book of the law of the Lord with them, and went about throughout all the cities of Judah and taught the people.
Who's doing that today?
Right.
Who's going around the cities of Judah with the Bible in their hand, teaching? Now, this is righteous, right? In the time of Jehoshaphat, right? A righteous kingdom. And he established this order. And the order was that the Levites and those who are princes, mighty men among them, are going to have Bibles in their hands, right? Literally, it says they had the book of the law of the Lord with them, right? They're going to have that. Let's say they had leaflets with them, right? Oh, yeah, Jesus loves you with leaflets on them. I didn't say they had that.
Right.
They said they had the Bible on them, they had the scriptures on them, and they're out in the streets teaching. You know, people saying, "Oh, why are you out here?" Right? You know, "Oh, we should just be inside all the time." No, the men of the Lord are going to be doing this because it's in the Bible. Man. We're just, oh, why are you guys out there? No, what are you talking about, man? Right? We're meant to be out there. And I ain't seen no Jewish man out there with a Bible in his hand, right? Teaching. Don't have the spirit of no Levites, or no Judites, or no any type of ites other than the Edomites.
And even to touch on that point, right? When it comes to Sabbath day, I believe they don't even leave their houses. So when you go into it, when it comes to the inheritance, they're not even following it properly because they ain't no oral circumcision in the scriptures. Well, why the hell are they doing that? So yeah, that's what they be doing. They be doing oral circumcision. And where you gonna find that in the Torah? You know, Moses and Aaron. You know, they were kind of saying, "Okay, guys, we kind of got to do this. We kind of got to, you know, hold on. You can't." No, they weren't doing that. So you can obviously see that they don't actually keep the Torah. You know, they'll use, and it's being pious. They're trying to be pious. They're trying to seem like they're doing it. Like they have, you know, they'll wear the cube, you know, on their head. You know, they wrap the strings around the arms, looking like wrestlers, right? You kind of look in the image, right? You know, they don't cut the corners of their head, right? They get the thing drawn. That's not what it's going into, right? So they see, they don't understand the scriptures really and truly, right? Because yeah, they don't understand the scriptures, man. Really and truly.
All right. Is there any other questions? Anyone's got?
And on the live as well, any questions, please drop them in the chat.
Yeah.
I think we can't hear.
Can you just clarify regeneration, how it is not reincarnation for some people?
Right. So Numbers 36, showing you, you know, you is inheritance from your spirit, right? That you have. So you can't come back as a cow and you know you're out there. That's what I heard some Jamaicans say that, man. Right? Oh, that cow was cursed because this person died and they had an evil spirit, and now that's why you know that cow was moving mad over there. No, what inheritance does a cow have in the kingdom, man? Right? The cow kind of comes back with the spirit of Paul, and you wonder about what the cow wants to go to on a ship to Syria. Right? They don't work like that. Right? Let's get 1 Corinthians 15 actually.
God.
1 Corinthians 15 and then verse 39.
So it's 1 Corinthians 15 and verse number 39. And it reads, yeah, God. All flesh is not the same flesh.
All flesh is not the same flesh, no?
But there is one kind of flesh of men.
Right, one kind of flesh of men.
Another flesh of beasts.
And another flesh of beasts.
Another of fishes. And another of birds.
So they've got their own flesh. So your spirit can't go into another flesh. So even on because I don't care. Like nations are species. I don't care. We are a different species to Elam, or a different species to the Indian man, or a different species. We've got different bone structures,
right,
to these people. Right, Somalians have the protruding heads. Right, their back just kind of arches weirdly. They walk like penguins. Right? They waddle. Their hands are out there like that. They're kind of weird, right? Indians, they got their own body structure. They're mostly kind of slim, right? They're hairy as hell,
yep,
right? And for some reason, their paws are very open because they always stink, right? So everyone's got their own body structure, right? Arabs, they got their own body structure, right? They got their own spirit,
Right.
where they just hate the Bible, right? Just like Ishmael did, was hating on Isaac as a child,
Hater.
right? Everyone's got their own spirit that they still have to this day, right? Moab, they got their body structure, they're all very small, right? They act like they can fight, but they can't. Japanese, right? They all eat raw fish, right? Everyone's got their own spirit, their own body structure, right? You know, Esau, right? He ain't got no testosterone.
Right.
He's a different species. He's very, very low in testosterone.
That's why they like. That's why they like going into these caves, like these tight caves, and that's when they get their thrill. They go into these tight caves and they kind of get stuck, and then they die. That's the thrill that they get because they ain't got that testosterone, man.
Right.
Madness, bro.
So that's why 95% of white people are homosexual because they're a different species, right? The other 5%, you got them like Thor type people. They're probably actually men, and they're the ones we're gonna have in the kingdom of slaves.
Huh.
But is there any other questions?
Any other questions on the live? Any questions? Any questions?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is the last round. It's the last round for any questions because we're closing up a little early.
No questions.
I'm gonna give it 10 seconds.
Give it 10 seconds. Any questions? Drop them in the chat. Any questions here? Please ask. Barbara Shout. Any questions?
All right, there you
I
go.
want to ask or mention something.
See that?
I wanted to ask or mention something regarding the burials with us minor. Traditionally, I guess everybody's been put in coffins now, isn't it? He was mentioning that when we go down the worms, we do what they got to do. That's not quite happening if we're in coffins, is it?
So, if you got like a good coffin, yeah, that shouldn't occur. So when you see like worms destroying the body, that would happen if you kind of die when you're just out there, like you're at war, you just die. People don't bury you at war. You ain't got time for that. So in that sense, worms are gonna destroy the body if you're just out there and you don't get a proper burial. So yeah, we try and put people in the coffin to prevent that from happening.
So we don't want it.
No, we don't want it to happen. Yeah, you don't want that.
So you don't want worms.
Yeah, you don't want to die and you're just out there.
Right.
And you just you bury someone straight in the ground. You just
No.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, even necessarily, like we see with Christ, they're kind of wrapped in linen, so it's not just out there in a bare body, for example, or you'd be put into a tomb. Obviously, now with what Muslims do is that you see that they're very quick at doing it, which is really what we should be doing. But obviously, the things of money, funeral, it's a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? So even that process, it's like we don't have the funds really to just say, okay, cool. Unless you got it like that, then all praise it. But we have to kind of, body might be in a hospital, it's got to be taken to there, the person might want to be buried back home. So there's so many things that we've got to kind of consider. But really and truly, it should be like we should be doing it pretty much straight away.
Where in Scripture does it say that?
In terms of burying straight away, I'm saying in terms of my own opinion, I'm saying like we should do our best to, because remember there's certain, like we went over last week, that when it comes to burial, you don't want to leave a man's body, and it's a Sabbath day, for example. You don't want to leave it hanging in a Sabbath day. Like in the time of war, you don't want to leave a brother's body or sister's body just there, before it's a Sabbath, for example. So we want to do this, as quick as possible, really and truly. But in terms of jurisdictions that we have here in this captivity, it's hard to do that. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, the reason why in of in this captivity, one found it to be stressful is that in spite of us being in captivity, Yahweh has given us privilege. And by having privilege, we may have some family members back in the various ports of where we were taken. And so when our family member dies or go to sleep, the family that are away from the deceased wants to come and pay homage to the deceased. So that's why we wait. We don't wait because sometimes it's not because of money. We're waiting so that everybody else can have and say their goodbye.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a good point to consider too. Like, we obviously have to consider people want to come to the funeral. They want to have a time of mourning to see the body. Yeah, so there's many factors that we have to kind of put in there as well.
Yeah.
I see a question in the chat. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3.
Right. Which one is it? This one. Is it one about all spirits?
All spirits come back.
Okay, come. So someone said, question about regeneration, do all spirits come back, right?
Ecclesiastes 3. Start verse 20. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 20.
Right. Come. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, and verse number 20. And it reads, all go unto one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again.
Everyone goes to one place. In the body, in the flesh, we all go to one place. No, we don't go back to the sea. We don't go into the air, right, and evaporate. We go to the dust. And just as, and even that will show you, because everything in the earth and the soil, has been broken down by other, bacteria and animals that are called decomposers,
Right.
in order to make what we have on the earth. And then those things are then used in order to grow new things. So things that come out, whether it's like, manure, as they say, or dead bodies, is used, when you have oil, natural gas, things that need to fertilize plants. All of these things, they go around in a cycle. Let's read on.
Verse
21.
21. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of beast that goeth downward to the earth?
Right, so the spirit of man goes up. So everyone goes to one place. So our bodies will go to one place when they die, and our spirits will go to one place, to heaven. Right? This is the place where, our spirits have to live, have to stay. We don't go under the ground. Our spirits go upward. They don't die, and then you go to hell underground, and then you start getting hot under the ground because of some guy that's red with horns.
Right.
Our spirits go back and we come back.
And even to touch on that, like brother's going into, with the foods, the animals, for example, that are purposed, because every animal has a purpose. When you search it up, like pigs, worms, snails, they all have a purpose. And that's why, obviously there's animals, some people say, oh, why can't we eat this? Why did the Lord make it? Well, because they have a purpose, to help with, decomposing of bodies, it's called biodiversity, I think, create balance, Something's got to be eaten, to help keep that going. It's all a cycle, So that not everything is to be eaten. You don't go around, and that's why they be going off in France, with the worms. No, snails? They be eating snails. Snails have a purpose, So, and I've seen a case where an Edomite, of course it was, he ate a snail and he got paralyzed and he died. So hey, that shows you that not everything, just because it's the Lord made it and then he blessed it. No, some things are made to be eaten, some things are not made to be eaten because they have a purpose, just like we do. You don't go around eating, I blessed a human and now I can eat it. You know what I'm saying? Logic is the same. Right? There's one more question as well. Okay. There's one more question. It says, I was thinking I was thinking about the book about Enoch. I was thinking about Enoch. So I don't know if he's saying about the book.
I think maybe in terms of the regeneration.
Okay.
He's talking about the regeneration, because he did get taken up just like Elijah. So in that sense, yeah, man, Enoch he'll be back on the earth as well, right? And we'll ask him what's in the book,
Right.
Yeah, he said not the book.
Okay, all praises, because we would have to shut that down. All praises.
We're gonna have to lock that off. So no other questions? Is any more?
You were going to mention about the embalming last week. You said you had to elaborate on that.
So
Because that's not our.
yeah. So the embalming that you had in Egypt, because you read about Joseph being embalmed, you're not taking out all the vital. We're not taking out a man's brain and all of the kidneys and all of that. You don't do that when someone dies, man. Right? That's
Egypt.
That's what they always do. Right? We're not mummifying people. We might see, Yahushua was wrapped in linen. It's not we're not mummifying people. We're not taking people's organs out. Not taking anything out. Like, that's allow the body to rest in peace. That's why it's called rest in peace. You can't say rest in peace and you're up in a man's body doing God knows what.
See that? Freaking off with it.
So we would have to make requests for that. Is that in
Yeah.
the system? They do, don't they? So something that's been reported.
Yeah. And we know that because, people were resurrected, right? Tabitha, you had the woman that Elisha came to. You had Yahushua himself.
Lazarus.
Yeah, Lazarus. They didn't take out their organs.
Right.
They didn't take out his brain.
And a man can't
Right.
see him.
Have a lobotomy, try to see. What was Yahushua really thinking about? What was I'm trying to find out what was in his mind in that. He wasn't doing that. I allowed him to rest in peace. Alright, so that's what I feel as well. So we're gonna close out for now. That'll be it for today. Alright, so for those on the Zoom, shalom.
Also, this morning, you can just kind of just throw this out there, and it's not for anyone to come up and ask me this yet. I believe that next week I'll be able to tell them that the hall may be closed for one of the Shabbat days, fall on one of the wicked days, or something. So it may be closed, and then we may just have to do it.
Also sign up, Masawi. I actually may have something.
New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, one eve of them, one of their wicked days.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me know. I'll try to that.
Shalom.
Shalom.